Hello folks, Chris Rainey here with the bullet points. We're talking about the fourth rule of gun safety. The fourth rule, be sure of your target and what's beyond. Be sure of your target. First of all, that means make sure that target's okay to shoot at. We have our gun range etiquette, and then we have our self-defense issues, not necessarily the same, but similar. On the gun range, we're concerned about our steel targets. Remember, our steel targets here will not stand up to rifle fire. They're not rated for that. And rifles at the close ranges we shoot will just tear them up. They're rated for handgun, pistol calibers. And so those are okay to shoot at with pistols only. Now, where we've had problems is somebody sees a 22 AR shooting at steel, which is okay. And then they think, oh, my 223 will work. Then they punch holes in it. And, sadly, we charge $45 a bullet hole. In fact, I think Justin changed it to $50 a bullet hole. And, it's kind of sad when we have to charge somebody. We feel bad about it, but that's the rules. Think about what you're shooting at the range. That bullet has to wind up in the dirt. Whatever you're shooting at, if you're shooting at paper, the bullet has to pass through the paper and wind up in the berm area. That's the purpose of the berm area, is to catch the bullet. And so we're being sure that when we fire, we launch a bullet, that it's going to stop somewhere, and we know where it's going to stop. It's our responsibility on every round we shoot to make sure that it stops in a safe area. That's more complicated in a self-defense situation, because even though the law says we're justified to shoot, we can't endanger our fellow citizens. And a number of people have been sent to prison because they were justified to shoot, and they shot, and then they killed a 5-year-old on their grandmother's porch. There's something in that line of thought, and I read about one just like that. Pretty serious stuff, and being in prison would be terrible. Living with a travesty like that would be even worse. So we're responsible for every bullet. Even though we're justified to shoot, we have to know where that bullet's going to wind up. If you're a hunter, you know that if you're shooting at an animal, you have to know that bullet is going to wind up in the dirt, and it's going to stop in the dirt. If it's not going to stop, then that's a problem. One of the problems we have with the military ball ammunition in the rifle calibers, this doesn't apply to handguns, but rifles, is that ball ammunition doesn't come apart. It's a solid bullet. It's a heavy metal jacket, copper jacket on the outside. And what it does is it can glance off the earth and keep going and still be lethal. And for instance, on the 100-yard range, if the bullet hits the 50-yard line, somebody doesn't have the rifle sighted in properly. And most people don't know how to sight the rifle. That's really the truth. We've been out here on the public range for a long time now, and we've seen all kinds of stuff. And we're in the business of teaching. I like the fact that our people here pretty much know how to do that. But let's say, for instance, somebody shoots a round, it hits the 50-yard line, and that hardball bullet can bounce over the 100-yard berm, which is a good 20 feet high. That's pretty scary. So one reason that most of the ranges now require soft points, and if I had a longer distance range, I would require soft points, is because once that soft point hits the ground, that bullet's coming apart. Whether it's a ballistic tip or whether it's hollow point, or one of the lead tip bullets, rifle rounds we're talking about, they'll start disintegrating, and it limits their bullet flight path, and it's a safety factor for the fellow citizens around us. We're responsible for every one of them, and everybody worries about the cost of the soft point bullets. I agree, but they are a safer round to fire. The other thing that we have that happens is the ball ammunition goes into the dirt and hits a previously existing bullet in the ground, and that kicks that bullet up, and it can go 75 yards behind the berm. I know of one of our people, I haven't seen him in a number of years now, but he was shot at a shooting match. I won't say where, but they had a long 100-yard bay, and they had targets set up at an intermediate distance, and they were shooting pistols. He was on the far side of the berm. This is a 25-foot berm, maybe 30 foot. He's on the other side of that. The bullet impacts were at the 25-yard line. And so they're shooting the targets. The bullets are going into the earth. A .45 bullet pistol bullet, which is a pretty slow travel bullet, glances off the earth, goes above that berm, hits him in the back, and puts him down. Well, it had lost a lot of its energy and only stunned him. And so, he gets back up and he's got a big whelp. And, the things happen, they stop the match, they figure out what's going on, they move the targets down to the berm line. That's one reason I don't like intermediate targets. It's too dangerous. So, being a good shooter that he was, he's down there with a shooting team on this match. So his wife says, "We need to go to the hospital." He goes, "No, honey, we need to finish this match." So he shoots for 2 more days, and then Sunday night he gets home, and then he finds himself paralyzed laying in bed because it hit right on the edge of his spine. So then, being the smart, intelligent guy that he is, he said, "Honey, I think we need to go to the hospital." And the swelling had become so pronounced that it impacted his spinal cord. And he's okay. He's got a little discoloration where that happened. This was a year later. And I was like, I'm going to remember that. So these bullets do some strange things. We just want to make sure that we're shooting into the berm area. And if you're out hunting, doing something like that, you got to make sure that bullet's going to go into the earth and have the proper ammunition. Think about your houses, what they're made out of. Rifle bullets go through one end to the other. That's where soft point ammunition, disintegrating bullet comes into play. It's a citizen safety issue, and it's a safety issue for your family. You're handling a rifle in the house or anything like that. Handguns, 15 to 19 panels, sheetrock panels. We talk about that all the time. Be sure of your target and what's beyond. Where's that bullet going to wind up? It's your responsibility. This is Chris Rainey, Bullet Points. Thanks for listening.